Everyone's doing all right? Okay, we continue with Samantabhadra's tenfold practices. We covered the first one, which is to revere and respect all Buddhas. And we explained the Buddha, of course, as the awakened one, Shakyamuni Buddha, but also includes the Buddhas of the 10 directions, past, present, future, as well as all beings as Buddhas. In chapter 20 of the Lotus Sutra, talks about this particular bodhisattva. His name is Never Despise. And he would bow and respect all beings, even though people would trash him, laugh at him, mock him. And people would ask him, why do you pay respect to everyone? He says, because all beings are Buddhas. They have Buddha nature. So the first practice of Samantabhadra embodies the whole Bodhisattva path. He is the path. And all beings who practice the Bodhisattva path, in a sense, is Samantabhadra. We cover that. So the first practice is to revere all beings. Tonight we'll talk about the second practice of Samantabhadra, which is to praise the Tathagatas. Tathagata is one of the 10 honorific titles of the Buddha. Tathagata. So essentially it means to praise the Tathagata. Now, even though we said in the first practice to revere all beings, to respect all beings as Buddhas, the second practice, to praise the Tathagata or Buddha, does not necessarily mean we praise and give respect to all beings. Does that sound funny? Like a contradiction? All beings are Buddhas. We should respect them. The second one, praise the Tathagatas. Because Tathagata, as one of the 10 specific names of fully awakened Buddha. So it's very specific. Clearly, as you know, there are people in the world that we do not praise. Right? So this practice refers to Buddhas, fully awakened Buddhas. Right? So I'd like to talk about tonight the 10 names of the Buddha. Because these 10 honorific titles of the Buddha actually reveal the merit, virtue, and the Buddha, the wisdom of the Buddha. It's quite distinct. So this first one, by understanding this, then we'll know why is it that we should respect Buddhas, and how is it different than an ordinary sentient being. Okay, so the first one, Tathagata, is the first of the 10 titles of the Buddha. It means thus come. This word thus or such has a very profound meaning. In Buddhism, it refers to things as they are. Thusness, suchness, tathata. But it has a deeper meaning beyond just the way things are. The ordinary people, when they use the term, it's just the way things are. It's like when you meet someone that's not agreeable to you, he's a jerk, you say, it's just the way things are. It does not have that meaning. Okay. So the deeper meaning of thusness is as it appears. Suchness of things. As if it appears. So, agata means come. So this means as if it came. And the Prajnaparamita Vajrachetika Sutra, which is the Diamond Sutra, actually explains this, the meaning of Tathagata. He explains it as if it came, as if it's gone. The ordinary people, we get caught up with coming and going, and by extension, having and lacking. Existent, non-existent. So using this lens, this polarizing lens to understand the world, which is all that we've ever known, either something exists or it doesn't exist. This person came and then went. We have something or we don't have. We lack something. This way of understanding the world is actually the root of all of our vexations. You see something that you like, you don't have it. You feel bad about yourself. You see someone else possessed of certain qualities which you believe you lack, you may not feel so good. All of our choices, decisions, life goals, careers, aspirations, it's actually based on having and lacking. Existence and non-existence. So this is something that we have to look into, because the name of Tathagata Garbha, Tathagata means as if came, as if gone. And by extension, as if having, as if lacking, as if existent, as if non-existent. It's not saying it's existent or non-existent, nor is it saying voidness, vacuity. It's just saying as if. And that's because on a conventional level, things may be perceived as existent or non-existent. But is it really such that it's existent or non-existent? When something is existent, is it really existent? What is it that exists? So when we conceive of something as existent, we have already reified, solidified whatever it is as a thing. Things can only exist when it's a thing. But is there a thing? In the Diamond Sutra, the Buddha also says, those who see me in my form, those who perceive of me through sound, does not see the Buddha. So, the way we understand things itself is highly problematic. And the decisions and choices that we make on our perception of having, lacking, existent, non-existent, is just furthering ourselves away from how things actually are. It's not to say that things don't exist, that the Buddha wasn't here. Clearly, the Buddha left teachings, walked on earth 2,500 years ago in India, gathered a congregation of practitioners to continue the teachings. And there have been generations of practitioners, teachers, transmitting the wisdom. So on a conventional level, we acknowledge the existence of the Buddha, his teachings, his congregation, and a generation of teachers. But on another level, or the ultimate level, it's impossible, unfathomable, to conceive of the Buddha as existent or non-existent. If you conceive of Buddha as existent, then he died. Where is he now? Absent. He's gone. But clearly, his teachings continue to be. Clearly, those people who perceive their true nature, their own true nature, it is said that they perceive the Buddha. So these conventional categories that we use, it's a good idea to challenge them, to examine them closely. Having, lacking, existent, non-existent, coming, going, arising, ceasing. So the first name, title for the Buddha is Tathagata. And this honorific title encapsulates his teachings in a way, challenging the dualistic ideas that we try to reify things. We cannot use our conventional understanding and try to understand the Buddha. It's inconceivable. Inconceivable. And that's what is said. As if come, as if gone. So that's the first title, Tathagata Garbha. all beings have this Buddha nature within, Tathagata Garbha. This nature is as if present, as if not present. Challenging the way in which we try to pigeonhole, compartmentalize our experiences into something that exists or don't exist. So it urges us to transcend these categories. If we see things as existent, it must be a thing. If it's a thing, it should be able to be found. Right? Like this table. So all things are as if exist, as if non-exist. This table, you say the table exists. But as soon as you go beyond this label existent, you see that the table is made up of non-table. Right? This particular table is made out of plastic. Plastic comes from other things. There's a designer, there's a factory, there's all these different conditions. So where's the table? Right? Table is just a name. You see? Table is made up of non-table. But does it have function? Yes. It's holding books, my glasses. It has a function. You can't say it doesn't exist. It's not vacuity. But you can't say it exists in a fixed thing. There is no such thing as table, like a thinness, an essence. This essence is made up of something else. Does that make sense? Yeah. Everything is like this. When I was a novice in New York City, we had to do a lot of errands sometimes because I was overseeing a publishing house, Dharma Drum Publications. So we had to go visit printers and so on with our designs and so on for books. This is early 90s. Things are not digitized yet. Okay, so on the subway one time, usually when I go on the subway, I just mind my own business, meditate. It's calm. This boy come on the train with the father, boisterous, very excited. So from New Yorkers' perspective, obviously they're not from New York. These are people from somewhere else. The boy's like, I'll get on the train, get on the subway. And then some of you have heard me say this story. The boy was like, the daddy was like, we're on the subway. He said, where's the subway? I said, what's this? This is a chair. What's this? The advertisement. This is a pole. And the kid started to become quiet, very upset. The daddy's like, what? Why are you upset? There's no subway. Everything they point to is not the subway. Subway is made up of non-subway. You know? And I was sitting there listening to all the conversation. I was like, subway is made up of non-subway. I was like, this boy is going to be awakened. You know? Tathagata is like that, the Buddha. As if came, as if not came. If we say he came, it must be a thing. How can a thing move, change? If it's an independent, existent being, if there's such a thing, not made up of everything else, then this being cannot change. Fixed. Right? But all things are created by everything else. Right? So, because things are interdependent, made up of everything else, you can't say it's a thing. You can't say it's a person. A person is made up of non-person. Relating us to us, you think you exist, but you're made up of everything else. You think you have your own opinions. Your opinions are made up of everything else. None of it is possessible. None of it belongs to you. Your possessions, you're temporarily using them. You can't take anything away. They don't belong to you, nor do they belong to someone else. So everything is interdependent, like a web, and continue to change. So the Buddha's as if come, as if gone. Tathagata. Second title, Arhat. In translation, the Chinese translation of this is worthy of respect. Worthy of respect. What is the meaning of Arhat? It's worthy of respect. Why does it engender our respect? Because an Arhat, it's someone who is freed from greed, hatred, ignorance. All the afflictions that bind a living being into the cycle of birth and death. The reason it's freed is because it's freed from self-referential attachment, self-grasping of me, I, mine. So all of our afflictions, anger, for example, jealousy, for example, needs something to lodge on. Right? Need a core. And this core of kind of selfing is a kind of habit that we have. So when you are angry, annoyed, there's grasping there. There's grasping onto me, I, mine. I don't like this. See? I don't like this. I like that. So inherent, built into this afflictions, every affliction, there's a self-referentiality. And implicit in this selfing is othering. So it's opposition. So when a person is freed from selfing, simultaneously, they're freed from othering. It's not that they don't know who they are, have no memory anymore, no intelligence, no knowledge, no need to use words, language, constructs. It doesn't mean that. The person can still use it in a conventional sense. But there is no element of afflictions, which is an emotive element present, a kind of self-referentiality. It's very hard to describe. It's as if it has nothing to do with you. But you're not a stoic. You're not emotionless. There is no grasping identity, a kind of me, I, mind that's filtering things. Right? But there's just a function of responding to things and nothing triggers you. That's what I mean by there's no emotional element. Is there joy? Yes. Happy? Is there sadness? Possibly. But in the responses themselves, there's no attachment. It's as if the mind is not moving, yet it's able to respond. The moving part is the emotional part, the attachment part. It's able to respond, yet has no fixations onto the self. Does this sound confusing? Yeah. This has to do with what the Buddha means by self. Self has nothing to do with intelligence, memory, or the function of our brain. All that works perfectly fine. The self refers to this false sense of gaining, losing, having, lacking, existent, non-existent, good, bad. But when I say it this way, it sounds like, okay, there's no good, bad. It doesn't mean that either. All these things are triggers of an emotional attachment. So imagine without that trigger, you recognize what is inappropriate, harmful, unskillful, vexation, what is wholesome, virtuous, good. You're able to recognize that, but the mind doesn't move, is not moved by it. So, without self-referentiality, all the afflictions of greed, hatred, ignorance, jealousy, arrogance, and so on, all these are emotive states. It's impossible to arise. So, an arhat is one who's freed from self, selfing and othering. This sounds like a lofty goal, attainment. But actually, this is your true nature. So each and every one of you, your true nature is freedom. Right? We just have to think about how we relate to things. When we see something unpleasant, in that moment, I want you to look at that. when you see something unpleasant, in that moment, if you examine that, there's an impulse of making whatever that you're seeing into a thing, into something real. Isn't that true? When you see something that you don't like, someone that you don't like, in that moment, that person is real for you. Isn't it? It's real. How can this person do that? In that moment you see that, he or she become real, right? Othering. And then you're here looking at that, selfing. See, that immediacy of that impulse, that is grasping. And that grasping makes everything into a thing. It makes yourself, your view, your values into a thing, and make the other person into an unchanging thing. It's real, it's out there, it's separate from you. There's a permanent quality to that when you make something into something real. There's a permanence that in that moment. It's permanence. So that is what Buddhism is talking about, grasping. And that grasping, it's not based on reality. It's not based on suchness. Ta-ta-ta. Because the reality is, first of all, on a very rudimentary level, it is not real. It is not separate. It is not a thing. Table is made up of non-table. Person is made up of non-person. What you see is just a moment-to-moment psychosomatic flux. There are reasons why, all these reasons, upbringing, conditioning, to make that person to do something like that. There's no self there. It's just a product of these different causes and conditions. Do you know what I mean? Right? There is no permanent thingness. He will change. She will change. Continue to change. But in our grasping, we make it into a thing. It is not real. For example, like family gatherings. A lot of people, maybe Thanksgiving or different occasion where people come together, they try to avoid. In every family, large extended family, there's always an uncle or an aunt that doesn't get along, right? Each one of them have their own construct of the other person. This uncle is just like that. Aunt Mimi is just like that. But they haven't seen each other in years, maybe. They still hold on to that. So that grasping, that identification, is a pure construct of your own mind. It may have some experiential backing from long time ago, but it is your mind that's construing Aunt Mimi into this thing. Does that make sense? And we're the one holding on to it. Oh, you mean she's going to be there? Oh, I don't want to go there. You see? It's purely existent here. So on a rudimentary level, superficial level, whatever it is, the thing out there, the person out there, continue to change. It doesn't have fixed, solid, rigid existence. On a slightly deeper level, it's totally your construct. It's totally your preference that's skewing the data for you to interpret that as, I don't like this person. Completely yours. Why? Because your brain has never left your skull. What you are seeing has no real fixed existence out there. What you are seeing is your electrical signals, giving signals. Neurosynaptic signals for you to construct, simulate an image in your mind that you think you're seeing. Does that make sense? Right? You think you're seeing me right now, but this is completely your imagination. What if I slap you in the face, Guagu? Slap. Even when you slap me, you think you're touching. How do you know you're touching? Electrical signals. The neurosynaptic. You think touching, right? Slapping. Your brain still has not perceived me. Truly. So when we question this selfing, right, that the arhat is free from, it's not some lofty attainment that we don't have now. This is actually your true nature. Your true nature is without self. Right? What is it that makes us feel like so real or grasping? Does that sound scary? Yeah. Don't worry, you're still here. Right? As if here. As if not here. Right? So, arhat, one who is freed from self-referential grasping, who has realized the true nature, and the true nature is freedom. Who has this freedom? All of you have this freedom. There's a Chan master Tong Hui of the Northern Song Dynasty. He says, this is like a bird that fly in the sky, the vast openness of the sky. Or a fish that swim in the clear, limpid waters. And the bird does not question the sky. The sky is its home. The sky is the domain of the bird. And water is the domain of the fish. Such freedom. And that's like all of you, all of us. You're swimming in it. There's freedom. So what is your domain? Your domain is freedom. We don't feel so free because we solidify, reify everything into a thing. As soon as we do that, we go against how everything is. As soon as we do that, make everything into a thing, then we're bound. No freedom. So our true domain is this freedom. And that's the second meaning of the Buddha. Arhat. Third one, Samyak Sambuddha, 正遍知, correctly enlightened. Or perfectly enlightened. This refers to the Buddha's fundamental wisdom and also acquired wisdom. Fundamental wisdom is the wisdoms that are able to see the true nature of freedom. Acquired wisdom is the wisdom of skillfulness, able to bring others to awakening. So, perfectly awakened one. That's the meaning. Fourth one, perfect in wisdom and action, 明行足. You could understand this perfect or replete in wisdom and action. Or you can understand it as this word Ming actually has the connotation of luminosity. Luminosity. So it is said wisdom has this quality of luminosity. And action refers to conduct. So a Buddha, another title is perfect in luminous wisdom and conduct. This means the Buddha is congruent. His actions of body, speech, and mind and thought, right? Body, speech, and thought, is in perfect alignment with freedom. And this freedom has the quality of luminosity. So yesterday, I was talking with a student. And she's going to hold a class next Thursday. Some of you know who she is, right? She's been holding classes on Thursdays. She's picking the early sutras about what is thought, what is the function of thought, which is related to motivation, intention, how to transform unwholesome to wholesome. And she's asking for some suggestions. So I said, you're missing something. Because you're only talking about the function of thoughts and a kind of quality of thoughts and how to transform from A to B, right? Wholesome, unwholesome, intentionality. The thing that you're missing is the nature of thought. And I said, you should use Prabhasa Sutta. Prabhasa Sutta, the early Nikaya Sutta. You should use that. And she says, yeah, but Prabhasa Sutta just says, one time the Buddha, without asking, just says, "Oh monks, the mind is luminous. Intrinsically." And these advantageous thoughts coming and going prevent a person from realizing it. And all the monks are like, that's it. That's the sutta, right? I said, how do I relate to that? I don't know how to relate to that. I said, that's probably the most important sutta on the nature of thought. Because what he's talking about is the mind. The mind is luminous. There's a clarity to it. Even when you give rise to unwholesome thought, in the midst of anger, greed, aversion, jealousy, arrogance, or wandering thoughts, in the midst of this thought, that quality of luminosity, clarity, has never left. That's the nature of mind. That's the nature of thought. And that's why in the Mulaka Sutta, which is the sutra called the root, someone says, what's the basis of all things, Buddha? The Buddha says, desire. What's the basis of desire? The mind's attention. What's the basis of attention? The application of the mind. What's the application of the mind? Blah, 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 all these questions. Until the end, the root of all things is liberation, monks. What? The root of all things, everything. Sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, thought. The root of everything. The Buddha said it's awakening. It's freedom. That doesn't sound too early Buddhism, right? Usually early Buddhism talk about desire, you gotta get rid of this, you gotta get rid of anger. So these two sutras reveal the essence of Mahayana teaching. The mind is intrinsically pure, luminous, just like now, as you are seeing me in this moment, the seeing, there's a clarity to it. That's the nature of mind. You may get caught up with the contents of your mind, the thoughts, thinking of this, thinking of that. It's not the content. That very ability to see and to think is a clarity to it. This clarity is not a thing. It's not a thing. It's just a function. Sometimes I call it experiencing. Just as you're experiencing now, there's a clarity to it. So I want you to experience your sight, looking at me, right? So look at me and then don't look at me. In other words, you look and you revert your awareness backwards. There's a clarity to that, seeing. Moment to moment to moment to moment, free. That is what's missing in your class on Thursday. So she says, okay, I'll add that in. So you could talk about the appearance of thought, good, bad. When you see things from the appearance, there's always good, and there's always bad, and there's unwholesome, and there's wholesome. There's virtuous, there's unvirtuous, all these phenomenal appearances. And you got to transform this into that. That's only half of the picture. The other half is luminous. This luminosity, it's unhindered by contents of your thoughts. No matter how outrageous you're engaging in wandering thoughts, or no matter how clear your mind is, free from thought, it is there. It's like the spaciousness of this room. The room can be cluttered like a total mess. But the spaciousness is unaffected. Or the room can be spotless clean. Right? You think, oh, I feel better when the room is cleaned. Actually, the spaciousness have never changed. Never change sounds like a thing. It's not a thing. It's not a fixed thing. It's not like two separate things. Content of thought, all these wandering thoughts, and then something beneath that that's non-changing. It's not that either. That's non-Buddhist thought. That's some outer non-Buddhist thought, outer path. It's not like the ground of being. It's in the midst of this moment, as you're thinking, as you're seeing, as you're perceiving. Already there, already luminous. And that's why Mudaka Sutta, the Buddha said, the root of all things. It's not. First he says, desire. He's like giving like baby teachings. Baby teaching. Go from the elementary school teaching all the way to PhD. In just a matter of few sentences. The root of this, that. The root of that is this. Root of all the way at the end, the root of everything is freedom. Liberation. That's the true. That's your true nature. Why would you settle for something that's not true? Right? Why would you settle for something that's bound to fail you? Right? Set yourself up for failure when you hold on to things. Open the grasping hand. Step back. You see that freedom. So that is correctly enlightened. Perfect in wisdom and conduct. So a conduct, actions that we take that stem from this perspective, that all thing is free. All the skillful means that stem from that, responses to the needs of sentient beings, becomes perfected. Right? Flawless, guiltless. When you contaminate this moment with me, I, mine, the center, what do I gain? What will I lose? What do I have? What do I lack? It just contaminates this moment of luminosity, this freedom. When there's no selfing, othering, yet responsiveness, that is perfection in luminous wisdom and conduct. 明行足. The fifth one, 善事, Sugata. Means well gone. Well gone. So in this context, gata means gone. Right? Like tathagata. Agata means come. Gata means gone. That's why tathagata could mean like the Diamond Sutra interpretation. Thus come, thus gone. As if come, as if gone. It has this double meaning. But Sugata means well gone. Why is the Buddha said well gone? What has gone? All vexations are gone. All afflictions are gone. Good job. Well gone. Right? It doesn't mean, oh, the Buddha's gone. It doesn't mean it's gone. Because as if it's here, right now in this moment. Right? So Sugata means well gone. That which is gone is all the afflictions, and for that reason, good job. Next one is Lokavid, knower of the world. 世间解, knower or understanding, one who's able to perceive the world. And the world includes all sentient beings. So, from the perspective of the Buddha, all sentient beings, each and every sentient being is unique and different. And that difference completely manifests in that mirror mind of wisdom of the Buddha. So that the response is like looking at yourself. Like you yourself standing in front of this mirror. And what it reflects is not just what you're wearing now, all of your karmic capacities, your karmic past, all of your potentials. And so that's why we have to praise the Tathagata, a fully awakened Buddha, because the Buddha is known as the all-encompassing, perfect doctor. It's able to prescribe the exact type of medicine that a sentient being needs. Nothing more, nothing less. That responsiveness, unfiltered with any of the selfing and othering that's in the way of this reflection. In this moment, you bring all that you are, all of yourself in this moment, in every moment. The way you behave, the way you present yourself, the way you articulate things, you cannot escape it from being who you are. So all that is manifest all at once to the Buddha. So when the Buddha sees you, give you the right medicine. And everyone's different. Some of the Buddha's medicine are from normal standards, outrageous, absurd, crazy, right? Like he had a cousin. He became an arhat. His name is Nanda. Actually, Nanda is not cousin. Nanda is his half-brother. So it's Mahaprajapati. His mother passed away, giving birth to the Buddha. His aunt raised him. His aunt happened to have milk because she just gave birth to a baby. Right? That baby's name is Nanda. Okay? When the Buddha became awakened, he went back to his palace, his kingdom, and taught all of his family members, a lot of people was converted at a time and became his monastic followers. So Nanda was so moved by his half-brother. Instantly wanted to become a monk. But Nanda has an issue. He loves women. He loves women. He's always checking out the babes. And the most beautiful woman in the Shakya clan, as he's leaving the palace, becoming a monk, going to become a monk, follow the Buddha, as he's going out, this most beautiful woman on the side, people are joining the palm, dropped a big bomb in his mind. So he's always checking out the babes. It's like, follow the Buddha out, going to be ordained. He sees this woman. This woman looked at him and says, "Come back now, you hear?" Something like that. So he was like, oh. So he can't get rid of the thought. Struggling. And he's telling his Dharma brothers, like, he already became a monk. It's like, I can't do it. I can't get her out of my mind. I'm just constantly thinking about her. You know? And the Buddha found out. The Buddha heard that Nanda is going to disrobe. He's going to return to lay life, marry that girl. So the Buddha, it's outrageous. The Buddha says, "Nanda, I hear you. You want to become a lay person again?" He says, "Yes, I can't do it. You know, I'm always thinking about her." Who are you thinking about? You know, that so and so. It's all her. And Nanda said, "Well, she's the most beautiful girl in the whole city." The Buddha said, "Do you know someone more beautiful than that?" "Yeah." "Show me." "Come with me." The Buddha took him by the hand, went to the heavenly realm, showed him all the 500 nymphs that's like, showering themselves, dancing. He's like, "Oh my God." He's like, "What is this place?" It's like, "Leave me here. Don't take me back." He says, "What do you think about so-and-so now? She's like a monkey compared to these women." It's like, "I want to be here." He says, "Well, if you want to be here, you have to practice meditation. Because this place can only be reached from the power of samadhi. And you're only here because I'm taking you here. Now let's get down, get back to earth." Boing! So they're back down to earth. It's like, "I want to get back there." It's like, "Teach me how to do samadhi practice." So he's like, diligent, day and night practice. And then the other monks found out. It's like Nanda went to see the Buddha, completely changed his whole course, his life course completely changed. What happened? "The Buddha took me to the 500 nymphs on the heavenly realm. I really want to get back there." It's like, "What? That's what you're practicing?" So they mocked him, humiliated him. He's like practicing really hard, and he realized his fault. Humiliated. And he engaged in practice this time with his whole being and became an arhat. And the Buddha asked him, "Do you want to go visit the nymphs?" He says, "No need." Right. So some of the skillful means that the Buddha used, this is in the scriptures, early and in the Mahayana too. All kinds of stories like this demonstrates the Buddha's skillfulness in relating to sentient beings. Why can he do that? Because he knows precisely what that person needs and gives the exact antidote. And this should give us pause, give us a sense of humility. Humility in the fact that we're not Buddhas. We lack in the skillfulness. We're still obstructed. Even though one may have perceived self-nature, have experienced awakening, but the habit tendencies of other vexations, they come back, blocking this ancient mirror within. All-pervasive mirror wisdom. So we cannot actually see what sentient being need in that moment. So we cannot give the exact antidote to help that person. So the Buddha is one who can accomplish that. And not all arhats, not all beings among his disciples, they're also called arhats, free from selfing, othering, but that doesn't mean they have perfection in wisdom of skillfulness. They have fundamental wisdom, but they don't have wisdom of skillfulness. So only a Buddha has this. Number 7, for that reason, he's called the unsurpassable, Anuttara, 无上士, unsurpassable. Number 7 is actually related to some of the other ones. Unsurpassable, Anuttara, wisdom and compassion. So clearly, ordinary people are unable to do this. To have the good fortune to actually meet a Buddha, that is something that all sentient beings, practitioners, aspire to actually. To be in the presence of a Buddha. So Shakyamuni Buddha passed away, but Maitreya is coming. It's the next Buddha. The next Buddha. So a lot of practitioners, myself included, has made vows to be in the presence of Maitreya when he comes down to teach the Dharma. So that in the presence of the Buddha, a Buddha will be able to excel in our practice. In the meantime, wherever sentient beings need me, I will be there, fulfilling my vows. But when Maitreya is here, I'll be there. As with all of you, I'll see you all there. Right? Because of meeting a Buddha who's unsurpassable in skillful means, wisdom and compassion. Hopefully I won't be like Nanda, like temporarily blindsided by, vexations of this lifetime. But it just needs to be lifted, then his potential completely manifest. Right? So the unsurpassable, one who's unsurpassable, is the 7th one. The 8th one, it's called the tamer, 调御丈夫, Purusha Dhamya Sarata. the significance of this is that this is another angle to look at the Buddha, right? Able to tame all vexations, all living beings, whether human or not. A Buddha has traversed countless eons of lifetimes interacting with sentient beings. Right? So they have a karmic connection with all sentient beings. So even if they encounter non-human beings, they're still able to tame them. Taming here means to allow them to be free from fear. Right? To give fearlessness. That's the best way to tame sentient beings. For example, the Buddha had a cousin, another one, who also became a monk. His name is Devadatta. Devadatta has been trying to assassinate the Buddha lifetime after lifetime. Right? And the last lifetime, as Gautama, Siddhartha, he was inspired by the teachings, became a monk, his disciple, but then, driven by jealousy, power, he wanted to establish his own Sangha. He wanted to overthrow the Buddha so he can take his place. How to get rid of the Buddha? I can't possibly do it myself. Can't possibly hire some other people because you're all traced back to me. What do? I know. I'll get an elephant drunk on his path when he's on begging, and then slap the elephant, hurt the elephant, so the elephant becomes enraged and just trampling down, destroying. It will just look like an accident. He's calculating every possible scenario. It will just look like an accident. When the Buddha crosses that road, the elephant will trample down and squash him. Crazy. So he gets the elephant drunk, gets the elephant enraged, stabs the elephant. The elephant starts trembling down. And the Buddha, everyone else was another like, Buddha, stop, let's go. The Buddha turned around and go, stop. The elephant stops in tears. Tamer. Elephant whisperer. No matter what you send down the Buddha's way, it doesn't matter. Right? One time the Buddha was strolling down with Shariputra, and they saw an eagle chasing a bird, a small bird. That's the prey. When the bird escaped, right, the eagle flew right toward the two arhats, the Buddha and Shariputra. When the bird came next to Shariputra, it was still trembling. And Shariputra was puzzled. How is it possible that a sentient being can fear me? I'm one without hatred, greed, ignorance. And the birds hopping came to the Buddha, completely tamed, completely pacified. Shariputra was wondering, how's that possible? And the Buddha said to Shariputra, because countless lifetime ago, you gave rise to anger, and that seed of anger is still within you. Whereas next to a Buddha, there's absolutely no seed of any of the afflictions. So the bird is free from fear. So even an arhat can have these residue afflictions. It's impossible for them to give rise to afflictions anymore. But the residue is still there. Right? The analogy I have is like the wine bottle. The wine bottle. You can dump out the wine and you still smell the wine. Can you get drunk of a wine? By smell? No. I don't think so. Right? But you still smell it. Similarly, for arhats, ordinary arhats, it's impossible to give rise to attachment, selfing, othering, all the vexations. But the residue is still there. And it comes out through their personalities. Whereas Buddha, as the perfected one, free from that. So, for that reason, he's called a tamer of all sentient beings. The ninth one. Teacher of men and gods. Teacher of men and gods. This is what the Gautama Siddhartha said, supposedly, when he's born. It's extraordinary. By all standards, impossible. Right? When he was born, baby. First of all, he came out of the mother's left side of the body. It didn't come out through the female genitals. It came out on the side. So miraculous birth. Maybe that's why the mother passed away. I don't know. He came out the side. And when he came out, he took 7 steps. Every step, his foot touched the ground, a lotus blossom. At the 7th step, he says, point one finger on heaven, one finger on top. He says, I shall be a Buddha, the teacher of men and gods, human and gods. And then he went back to go, gaga, goo, goo, gaga. Didn't talk anymore. But when he first came out, everyone was like this. Extraordinary, right? Why is he a teacher of human beings and gods? Gods. Because from the Buddhist cosmology, all 5 or 6 realms of existence, the highest, of course, is the realm of gods, the devas. The lowest, denizens of hell. Human beings are kind of in between that. So, even when a sentient being become a god, they're still in the realm of existence, cycle of samsara. Whereas the Buddha has transcended samsara. And if you look at the scriptures, like the Old Testament, for example, when you look at the Old Testament, it's very telling. It says, I'm a jealous God. This is in a context of Yahweh telling his followers not to follow the fire worshippers. Gods, the fire gods. Worship me only. I'm a jealous God. Would you want to study with someone who still got jealousy problems? So all these gods, whether they are benevolent or malevolent, they still have residual grasping. They still have self in them, self-referentiality. So when people worship them, they are great loving gods. But when people leave them, abandon them, then you see the wrathful form, punish the devotees. That's like it's going to sound like I'm criticizing other religions. But the analogy I have of this is like, there are people like this, and you may have met them. They're very kind, loving, very wise when you submit yourself to them, to their wisdom, when you agree with them. But when you don't agree with them, not so kind. Have you met people like that? Yeah. They have all the qualities of a kind person, of a sage, right? But then when you challenge them, then you see their wrath, right? It's like mafia, When you borrow money from them and you work for them, they take care of you. But when you want to leave, you got to be taken out, So it's precarious relationship. You can be a devotee, a follower, but you cannot be them. You become God? No, so that relationship is father and children. You're my children. You're never going to surpass me. You can't be me. I created you. You see that relationship? So it's a relationship of oppositions. It's a relationship of hierarchy. Superior, inferior. Right? I don't know about you, but I don't really buy that kind of relationship, But the Dharma says, you're already free. You are Buddha. You just have to recognize this luminous wisdom within you. Bring forth out this wisdom. Cultivate that compassion and skillfulness. And you too can be all that you can be. Right? To realize Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. Right? Complete, unsurpassable, perfect wisdom and compassion. So, quite a difference. And that difference, the biggest difference, is the grasping onto self. Selfing, othering. That is the biggest culprit that prevent us from manifesting fully our potential. The last one, Buddha Bhagavan, world honor one. In this world of samsara, driven by desire, where all beings are driven by passion, driven by desire, shielded by their aggression, born out of ignorance. That's what we do. Right? Born out of ignorance, shield ourselves with aggression, hatred, driven by our passion, greed, hatred, ignorance. The only being who is thoroughly free from that and is able to bring freedom to all beings, precisely what they need. That is a Bhagavan. Tathagata. And for this reason, for all these tenfold reasons, this is why we praise the Tathagata. Right? So it's very important to understand the full implication of this freedom. So from the Chan perspective, all beings are Buddhas. We respect them, revere them. And when one, as Chan says, see your self-nature, you become a Buddha too. But that Buddha is not this Buddha. That Buddha is Buddha in principle. Right? Clearly, we don't have the capacity to help all beings. Right? Clearly, we're unable to tame. Forget about elephants. You can't even tame your children, probably. Right? Your closest relative, you can't even tame. Or your husbands, right? So clearly, your skillful means are very low, right? So practitioners of Chan and Zen must have that humility of our inability to manifest this, and thus we practice with great diligence. Great diligence. But the way we practice with great diligence is like what I said before. Chan Master Tong Hui in the Northern Song Dynasty. We practice like the birds, like the fish. Right? Already free. Freedom is already our domain. You're swimming in the waters of freedom. You're soaring in the open sky of freedom. Right? Not making it into a thing. Does bird make sky into a thing? No. Does fish make water into a thing? No. They're swimming there. They embody it. They enact it. So be diligent like a fish, diligent like the bird. Not making anything into a thing, not seeking after the sky, grasping, chasing after water. It's already there, already free. This is your domain. This is your prerogative, this freedom, Buddhahood, and yet be diligent. If we practice like this, when vexations come out, difficulties, struggles that we feel, immediately we'll be able to allow them to pass through, flow through, and not reify, not caught up. You can just use one of these titles, honorific titles. Remind yourself, like, perfected in luminous wisdom and conduct. And the way that I explained it is, this luminous wisdom, this luminosity itself, it's already here. It's in your seeing. Don't get caught up with that which you're seeing, but the seeing. It's in the seeing. It's in the thinking. It's in the tasting. It's in the hearing. That clarity already there. And when we are experiencing struggles, we have to remind ourselves of something else that I explained. Take up the responsibility. This is my own construct. The way that we are struggling, that we're caught up with something, is because of our own clinging. Our own clinging. Nothing to do with outside. Outside is just a mirror to our own clinging. real synaptic firing. Your mind has never left outside of your skull. What is it that you're caught up? Right? In this luminosity of this moment, what is it? What is that? Right? When you feel. How many of you have have experienced great anger before? I was giving advice to a student. I said, you should make use of modern technology. Just film yourself or have someone film you when you're completely going berserk, like going crazy, right? And then when you're calm, when you've forgotten about it, watch that. Watch that video of yourself. That contrast, that juxtaposition, so real. That which you're angry about, so real. Right? All these things is coming up. You look at yourself. Who is that? Where is she? Where is he? Where are they? It looks exactly like you, right? But you're not him. You're not her. You're not them. You're just me, yet I'm not you. What is that? That's a very powerful teaching. Yeah. Especially when you feel happy and you look at that. It's like, what? Now, normal people probably see that as, oh yeah, that was last week, I got angry. But for Dharma practitioners who knows no self, all of you have heard me talk about no self. Table is made up of non-table. Self is made up of non-self, right? You all know that, right? But you need to see yourself, another you. Who are you? You want to try that? Try that. Have someone. You're angry at someone, if you live with someone, as soon as you tell them, when I get angry, just film me. You get angry? It's like, put that away. I'm talking to you. Great. Keep going. And then when you're happy, all fine, and just look at that. Where is that self? Where is it? He looks exactly like you. Is that you? In that moment, it's so real, so permanent. This other, this thing. The self, that self is what the Buddha is talking about. Experiencing something as a thing. Permanent, there's a sense of permanent, realness to it. Separate existence, independent existence. In that moment, we got to catch it. Catch it when that arises. And see right through it. That is self-attachment. It's nothing to do with your memory, nothing to do with your intelligence, capability, capacity of your senses. It's that habit tendency of reifying, solidifying, making things into real when they are clearly not. So these are the ways. And when we practice the Dharma, that is the best way to praise the Tathagata. second practice of Samantabhadra. How do we practice praising Tathagata? There's some people, they come to Dharma Center, or they do prostrations, praising, thank you, to a piece of wood, right? Or whatever. And then to their family member, they have the wrathful deity, they become a demon, you know. No. It's like, to their kids, maybe to their husbands, they fight, right? No. In that moment in which you're solidifying, reifying someone into a thing, look at that. Put it down. Look at that freedom. The luminous mind. That is to praise the Tathagata when we practice the Dharma. Okay? That's the best way. Okay? Any questions?
So, when we perceive a person as perpetrating all kinds of evil and causing a lot of suffering, and you just talked about making things into a thing and perceiving. It's our mind that's perceiving this person as the
perpetrator.
Yes, and the origin of the suffering. But it's really, that's not the origin, right? It's not, that person is not a thing. So is it helpful to kind of to see this in that context? And I'm not sure exactly where I would go from there, because I'm not doing it right now. But it seems like that would kind of help us to see how maybe even some of the characteristics we have contribute to the coming together of these conditions, which we now perceive as coming together in this person, but it's much more amorphous.
Yeah. It's not really a question, it's a statement. So thank you. Thank you.
Well, my question was, like, do you have suggestions on when we see a person which causes us to have hatred actually towards that person? So there's the practice on addressing our hatred, but are there practices to kind of step back from that?
Yeah. So if I were to hold on to that mic. If I were to ask you, Gita, someone approach you with this question, how would you answer? Are there practices to help us to step back? How would you answer?
So,
the answer is
no.
There is no method to.
So, no, I mean, there's fundamental methods which I find always helpful, because this construct, this person, is manifesting through my thoughts. So if I ground myself, I kind of get a little distance from being caught up in the thought of this person. And so kind of grounding myself, and there's something you said in the WhatsApp chat that I've found really useful, and that was to see things as not being outside yourself.
Yeah.
And I think there's something I could use there in this situation.
Correct. There's all kinds of ways we can use, all kinds of methods. Basically, we have to first address our vexations. You know, what's coming up within you, it's yours. You take up responsibility. You use methods. In that juncture, things come up, you use method to settle this. Because whatever choices that you make, if you're seeing that person through your own stuff, you're not going to make good decisions. So when you are more settled, clear, you'll be able to see there are so many interconnections to why that person is the way. And of course we contribute to that. Just being in this society, in this capitalistic regime, in the way we live, the way we share certain values, we're othering other people. From their perspective, it's justified. Even though we may not, we're just one individual. So, but when we are freer from self-referentiality, the way we see the world will be a little bit clearer. The way we can recognize the workings of causes and conditions. Right? And then when we respond, because whatever person that trigger us, it's just a symptom. They're just a tip of the iceberg. Whatever that may be. There's a whole history behind that individual and that whole context and our whole value system. So the way to respond, so when we see that, we don't really blame that person anymore. You know, because we see the bigger interconnected web. And we're able to forgive. And not only that, we're able to engage with hope. How can that possibly arise? Because we see better nature. Because we see freedom. Because we're acting from freedom. See? Yeah. Well, depending on our ability, position, whatever context we can do what we can to help, to spread the word. You know? Supporting institutions that spread this word of interconnection, spread the truth of things. Supporting teachers that teach, you know, so more people, the more people understand it, the better it is. The more they can reflect on themselves and change their ways. The world slowly, slowly changes. You know? Yeah. Okay. Have a good night.